rebound in this game, and Caitlin Clark! Clark from the logo!
She's speedy, she's sharp, she's unstoppable. Caitlin Clark simply broke records that left the Basketball International speechless. What's the secret at the back of her recreation? Why do 10 WNBA MVPs say she's on a unique stage? You've seen the stats. However, we're going deeper into how this one sport silenced her critics and made even the greats take note. Stay with us as we explore why Caitlin is rewriting the rulebook on women's basketball. It's one aspect to have a first-rate game, but what Caitlin Clark did on that night turned into more than notable, it changed into historic. With extra than 40 points, 10-plus assists, and an actually unreal shooting performance, Caitlin wasn't simply scoring. She changed into setting on a clinic, and everybody knew it. She broke data and did it with a kind of swagger that made it clear she wasn't executed, but
Got McKenna Warnock in the air.
Clark at the logo, book it!
Caitlin didn't just play her sport. She controlled the complete drift of the nighttime. From the moment the ball tipped off to the final whistle, Caitlin turned into the one dictating the tempo, calling the photographs, and making sure each person knew whose night it turned into. What's so superb isn't just that she placed up monster numbers, it's how she did it results easily. The crowd, electrified. The critics, silenced. And the legends of the sport, they couldn't prevent speaking approximately her. You don't get reward like Caitlin Clark's been getting unless you've earned it. When you were given a number of the best to ever play the sport, WNBA MVPs like Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, and Diana Taurasi, supplying you with props, you recognize you've hit a distinctive tier. Let's pay attention what that they had to say.
Clark, one of those distance attacks.
Breanna Stewart turned into the primary to speak up, and what she stated reduced directly to the heart of Caitlin's sport.
Just know it makes sense. Like, everyone that has really made a case for Caitlin has made it on.
Her vision is what separates her. Most gamers play the game in real time, but Caitlin performs it in fast forward. She's seeing matters increase earlier than they even show up. Think about that for a second. To control a game the way she does method, she's no longer simply reacting. She's anticipating. She is aware of wherein each player is and wherein they want to be, and she can provide each time. Then there's A'ja Wilson. Her point became all about leadership. When you watch Caitlin, it's apparent she's now not just a scorer. She's leading available, keeping her teammates engaged and involved while she puts up these insane numbers.
It's pretty late, but it's noise that I don't really listen to, honestly, because I'm in season. I have other things that we need to worry about than what.
And that's the component. It's one aspect that allows you to score at will, but it's any other with a purpose to try this while also setting up your teammates for fulfillment. Diana Taurasi, one of the maximum prolific scorers inside the history of the game, couldn't assist but wonder at Caitlin's variety.
Being in a team sport that it's always different, new faces. The goal's always the same though, and it starts.
She pulls up from deep, like really deep, and you can tell she's got full self-belief it's getting in. She's converting the manner we think about what's feasible from behind the arc. Coming from Taurasi, a participant who's regarded for her personal taking pictures touch, that is excessive praise. What are they pronouncing? That Caitlin's game isn't simply brilliant, it's rare. These MVPs are seeing things in her game that they don't see in just any player. For all her achievement, although Caitlin's had her fair percentage of critics, people have stated she's one-dimensional, that she is based too much on her shooting, or that her protection doesn't maintain up as compared to other elite gamers. You've likely visible it on social media tweets and comments, selecting aside her recreation. It's now
Clark, again, just needs maybe.
Not surprising. Any player on the pinnacle in their recreation is going to stand their fair share of doubters. But that nighttime, Caitlin shut them down. Completely. Defense, She turned into anywhere, choosing up steals, locking down opponents, and stepping into passing lanes. Her critics' desire to say she couldn't shield, she made it appearance easy, and the communicate about her being a one-trick pony, she dropped dimes, threading passes that most gamers wouldn't even see, not to mention make. This wasn't only a scoring show-off, it changed into a display of total dominance in every factor of the sport. For all the speak, Caitlin allowed her play do the responding. By the give-up of the nighttime, the critics were quiet. When you positioned up numbers like that and solution each doubt, there's no longer a great deal left to say. Let's circle back to our MVPs, because they had even more to mention about what makes Caitlin Clark special. Candace Parker, one of the most versatile gamers in WNBA records, mentioned Caitlin's durability. It's one factor to have extraordinary recreation, but it's some other to thrive whilst the pressure is on. That's what makes Caitlin one of a kind. When things get hard, she receives better. It's like she lives for those moments while the whole thing's on the road. Sue Bird, a participant who's acknowledged for her exceptionally high basketball IQ, focused on Caitlin's intellectual recreation. What sticks out to me is how clever she is. She's no longer simply out there playing. She's wondering 2-3 steps beforehand of every person else. We're given this ability to manipulate the protection, create space, and make the appropriate skip. It's like she's playing chess while all of us else is gambling checkers.
You can support as well by visiting v.org/Stewart. 100% of those don't.
Then there's Elena Donne, who knows an aspect or two approximately being an entire participant. Her take? Caitlin's game is so properly rounded. We're given the taking pictures, the passing, the rebounding, and he or she can shield too. There's nothing she will be able to do, and that makes her a nightmare for opposing teams. When were given legends like Candace, Sue, and Elena praising now not just your bodily game, however also your intellectual approach, you're doing something proper. Caitlin Clark isn't just dominating bodily, she's outsmarting her fighters too. Let's dig into a few moments from that file-breaking night that definitely define why Caitlin is on any other degree. First up, that deep three-pointer. It was past due in the sport, and the protection had tightened up. Most players might have driven to the basket or searched for a teammate, not Caitlin. She lightly dribbled, pulled up from an awesome 5 toes beyond the 3-factor line, and drained it. The crowd went wild, and for suitable motive. It wasn't only a fantastic shot, it became an announcement. She's not afraid to take the difficult photographs, and he or she hits them. Then there has been the help that had absolutely everyone speak me. Caitlin become being double-teamed, strain all round her. However, rather than panicking or forcing a bad shot, she determined a sliver of space and fired an ideal skip across the court to her teammate for a clean bucket. Plays like that display she's no longer only a scorer, she's a facilitator too. And let's no longer overlook the protection. In a seized second, with the sport striking within the balance, Caitlin got here up with a scouse borrow that shifted the momentum totally. For all of the talk approximately her wanting to improve on defense, that play confirmed she's extra than able to making game-converting shielding stops. Still no longer convinced that Caitlin's on a one-of-a-kind degree? Let's listen from some greater MVPs. Nneka Ogwumike, a former MVP and a true chief, both on and rancid the courtroom.
The next level is always going to be more difficult, but she has, you can tell, how she plays, that she has the pro mentality.
Oh yeah.
Talked about how Caitlin's have an impact on is already attaining more youthful gamers. You can already see it. Young girls are watching her, seeking to play like her. She's inspiring the following generation, and that's when you know you're making a real effect. Sylvia Fowles, one of the high-quality put-up gamers the WNBA has ever seen, mentioned how Caitlin is converting the way we consider factor guards. She's no longer simply walking the offense like a conventional point protect. She's scoring, rebounding, defending. She's doing everything. She's displaying us what the future of the position looks as if. Tina Charles, a scoring powerhouse in her very own right, said, "What stands out to me is Caitlin's versatility. She can score from anywhere on the courtroom. However, she's also putting in place her teammates, crashing the forums, and playing tough defense. She's a complete participant, and that's uncommon." And finally, Lisa Leslie, one of the original stars of the WNBA, positioned it without a doubt. Caitlin Clark is the destiny of ladies' basketball. She's already displaying us what's viable, and he or she's most effective going to get better.
The 25th time this year that Caitlin Clark.
When you've got this many legends speak me approximately your recreation, it's clean that Caitlin Clark isn't just any other big name. She's changing the game, and anybody is aware of it. Caitlin Clark is already a legend within the making. Her document-breaking nighttime wasn't only a flash inside the pan, it turned into a preview of what's to come back. She's changing the way human beings consider basketball. Whether it's her insane taking pictures range, her pinpoint passing, or her capability to take over a sport, Caitlin has validated that she's now not just another extremely good player. She's something unique. The future? It looks even brighter. Caitlin is simply getting began, and she's already earned the honor of some of the satisfactory players to ever play the game. What's subsequent for her? More facts, extra highlights, and more moments that depart us all in awe. Now, it's your turn. What do you observe? Can Caitlin keep to dominate at this level? Will she cross down as one of the all-time greats? Let us recognize inside the remarks. And in case you like this video, make certain to hit that like button, share it along with your pals, and don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell icon so that you by no means omit an update on Caitlin Clark and the future stars of ladies' basketball.